Hello everyone! Today I'm making beef and rice casserole. These are the ingredients that you're going to be needing. I have in my bowl 3 cups of cooked rice, a pound of lean ground beef. I've got some chili powder, a green bell pepper, a brown onion, also referred to as a yellow onion as well. I've got some kosher salt, some pepper. I've got my tomato sauce, some pinto beans, some Frito chips, and some medium cheddar cheese, and of course my garlic. So first I'm going to get started with my bell pepper, and I'm only going to be using half, but if your family really likes the bell pepper, they can definitely you can definitely use a whole one if you like. And so I'm going to also cut it into chunky pieces, but you can dice it kind of small if you prefer. And in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this casserole. But what I'm going to share with you and show you is how I take those ingredients and put them together to make this wonderful beef and rice casserole. And if your family doesn't prefer this type of pepper, a nice substitute would be, you can leave this out, and a nice substitute would be a 4-ounce can of the mild diced green chilies. And in the description box below, I'll put that as something that you can use as an alternative to using the green bell pepper. Now next I'm going to go ahead and chop up my onion. And my onion, I'm going to need 1 cup of chopped onion. And I'm using this brown onion. And so I just want to chop it up about this size, about the size of a dime is what I'm looking for my chopped onion. Now once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and mince up my 1 clove of garlic. Now if you don't have a brown or a yellow onion, you can also use a white onion. A white onion will also work well in the recipe. And in my pan, I put my 1 pound of ground beef, and that's lean ground beef that I'm using. This is a 93% to 7% lean ground beef that I'm using. If you have an 80-20, you can use that as well. You're just going to have a little bit more drippings that are going to come off of your ground beef, and you want to make sure that you go ahead and drain most of that off. And then I want to go ahead and make sure that I break up my ground beef really well. Now this casserole is going to be enough to feed about 4 to 5 people, depending on how hungry they are, but about 4 to 5 people. You can double the recipe. I would double it, but I would do it in a separate pan. I wouldn't double it and make it thicker. I would just put it in another 13x9 pan. So once I have my ground beef is nice and it's browned, I went on and I drained it and I set it to the side. And then next in the same pan, I'm going to put in all of the veggies. So first I start off and I'm going to put my onion in, and I'm going to turn my fire on to like a medium low, because we're just going to gently saute our vegetables. And I'll put in the bell pepper as well, but I did not put in the garlic, not just yet, because the garlic's only going to take about 30 seconds to a minute to just kind of get soft. And off camera, I added a little bit of vegetable oil to my pan, so to have just a little bit of something in there, so that way the onion and the bell pepper can just soften up just slightly. And I'm trying to soften them, I'm not trying to brown them. And if you have a few brown pieces like I do there, that's totally fine, but you mostly are just trying to soften them up, but we're not trying to brown our onion or brown up our pepper. Now I go ahead and I had added in the garlic, and I sauteed that around for just a minute, and then I added the ground beef back to our pan as well. And I still have my pan on that low heat, that low medium heat. I'm going to add some seasonings, and I'm going to add some kosher salt. I'm using kosher salt, but if you have regular table salt, you can definitely use just regular table salt. I'm putting in a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and I'm also going to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. If you are new to my channel, welcome in, and if you're a returner, welcome back. And if you are enjoying the content, I hope you consider subscribing. I'm going to add some chili powder, and this is the chili powder that I'm using. You can use whatever chili powder you have on hand, or whichever that you happen to find at the store. This is chili powder. Is not very strong, so it's not really spicy. And I'm using 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Then after I put my chili powder in, definitely you want to stir everything up. And during this time, I had my pan on a low flame. And so then I'm going to add in my tomato sauce, and I'm adding in 2 cans 8 ounce each of the tomato sauce. Then what I do is I take the cans of tomato sauce, I put a little bit of water, about a tablespoon in each can, and just kind of swish it around just to get that last little remnant of the tomato sauce out the can. Then using the bell pepper in the recipe, and you're going to use the 4-ounce can of the diced mild green chilies. When you add in the tomato sauce is the same time that you will go ahead and add in that can. And you don't drain it, you just go ahead and add the full can in there. And it's the 4-ounce can. And I'll have that information also in the description box for you. So once I've done that and I mix everything, then I'm going to go ahead and let it come to a simmer. Once it comes to a simmer, I'm going to put the top on. I'm going to let it finish cooking so all the flavors come together just for about 10 minutes. So everything is looking good. It is nice and hot. The peppers and the onion are nice and soft. It is looking good. It is smelling good. I'm going to give it a taste to see if I need to add any additional seasoning. And then at this point, definitely taste it just to kind of see where it is for seasoning for yourself, for your family, if it's right where you guys like it. You can also add a little bit more chili powder if you want to as well. I have all the ingredients ready to assemble our casserole. And then I have a 13 by 9 casserole dish that I have buttered well. And then I start to layer. So first I'm going to start with a layer of my beef mixture. And then next we're going to go ahead and put in, and you want to make sure we're going to use half of the beef mixture on the bottom. And we're going to use the second half of the beef mixture is going to be on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first half of the beef mixture down. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my rice down. I'm using 3 cups of white rice and 1 cup of dry rice. Cooked is going to give you 3 cups of cooked rice. And my rice, I had leftover rice, and so because I had some leftover rice, it was a great time to make this casserole. And if you are using leftover rice, that's leftover maybe from a day or 2 days, it's been in the fridge, what you definitely want to do is add a little bit of water to your rice and then microwave it just to kind of get it warm if it's coming from the fridge and it's cold. So then I went on, I layered, I put the rice down, and then I had a 15-ounce can of pinto beans that were drained. I put that down. I put additional rice down. So then I put the second half of my rice down, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the second half of my beans down. Now, if you want a little bit more beans, you can definitely use a second can of beans if you like, if you want a little bit more beans in it. And with my can of beans, I also microwave them. And this is the can of beans I use, just regular plain pinto beans. And that's a 1 15-ounce can. And so once we do that, then I'm going to put on the final layer. This is the second layer of our beef mixture. And I'm going to spread it all the way across and make sure that I have it in the corners and all the way end to end. And while I'm doing this, I have my oven. It is preheating on 350 degrees, and our casserole is going to bake in our oven for 15 minutes. And this is just to help everything just kind of come together as one. And this allows the casserole to just set up nicely. This is such a wonderful recipe because you're only taking that pound of ground beef, some rice, and 1 can of beans, and with some cheese, and then like your veggies, you're putting it together. This is a great meal, and it doesn't cost a lot to make this wonderful meal. Next, I'm going to put on some crushed corn chips, and I'm using 1 cup of corn chips. The 1 cup of corn chips are whole, and then I went on and I crushed the 1 cup. If you don't have any corn chips, you can also substitute for some crushed tortilla chips. And then we're going to take it just like this. We're not going to cover it, and I'm going to put it in the oven. So our casserole is out of the oven. It has baked up for 15 minutes uncovered. And then now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some shredded cheese. I'm going to use 1 cup of medium cheddar cheese that I shredded. You can also use a Mexican blend cheese if you like. You could use a taco cheese. Colby Jack cheese works well. And then once I have the cheese on, then I'm going to take the casserole, I'm going to put it back in the oven for the cheese to melt, and that's going to take an additional 5 minutes up to 10 minutes. So this is our casserole. I'm going to let it just cool for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and serve us up some and see how we did. This serves up well with some mixed vegetables on the side. It also goes well if you want to make yourself a nice salad for the family. And then something else that you can also do is you can also serve it with some sour cream. It goes really good with a serving of sour cream with it. If some people like some extra salsa or some jalapeno, that works good. And I made my casserole with ground beef, but you can definitely also make it with ground turkey as well. Well, this is our casserole right here. I'm going to go ahead and get y'all bite ready. Go ahead and take your bite. This bite right here is for you. Now I'm going to take my bite. Y'all, this casserole, it comes out so good. Well, thank you for spending time with me today in my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful, quick, and very economical casserole dinner. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe and click that notification bell because I have some other wonderful ways to use just 1 pound of ground beef. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. And don't forget to show this video some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. Share this video with a friend or family. And it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.